Following show is an Oldie production. This is the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referenced in this episode. This is the Make Life Rich Movement podcast with me, your host, Sarah Kelly. Hello, my Richies, and welcome back to another episode of the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. My name is Sarah. I'm your host, and in this very first solo video episode, we are going to talk about enhancing your self-worth and really finding your self-value. Now, there are 4 different things we're going to touch on to kind of help you create and cultivate your self-worth. And you may be asking all right, what does this have to do with business? We cover both business and personal life on this show. You're no stranger to that, but I think this bit of your personal life matters towards your business a little bit more than you might think. On a recent discovery of this myself over the last 2 years, I've realized that I needed to cultivate a much higher self-worth for myself because it was intrinsically tied to what I was accepting with my customers, what I was what I wasn't getting in terms of payment because I wasn't willing to really ask for what I was worth or what the project itself would require in hours alone, just making sure I was getting paid properly. So many parts of my business were really inhibited because my self-worth was not at a place to where it needed to be and where I deserved it to be. Along that time frame of really trying to get down to the bottom of it, where within my personal journey do I have a block, or is there something that I could work on in a way that is going to not only help my personal life, but really take my business to that next level of experience, intuition, and an overall, let's just say coalescing of all the foundational pieces that you need between yourself and your business that do kind of create that successful platform that we're all looking for, we're all striving for. And it does seem like it's something that's continually going to require you leveling up and editing and changing and tweaking and removing certain things. But when it comes down to your very first attempts at taking a look at your self-worth and figuring out how you'd like to change it, there are 4 different ways that I went about doing it. And they were things for me to think about, or they were tools for me to pull out of my pocket when I was in a place of really needing to support myself and just give a little bit more attention to what I was asking of others or what I was giving away of myself that really wasn't indicative of the self-worth that I was working towards. So the first was identifying the core beliefs that I had about value and worth, about an example. Time for money. How much time for how much money? How much time is being paid for with the amount of money that you proposed? Maybe right out the gate, you're proposing a work agreement with a client, and you give a really low number for the amount of work that you know it's going to take for you to do your job, just baseline, not even above and beyond, not even well. And then they accept that price because you gave them the bottom of the barrel of what it would cost for you to do your worst, and you're going to give your best because that's how we operate. Setting yourself in that way, you're not really paying attention to your value. You're ignoring it out of fear, likely, of them saying no to the project or to the price. And because you are insecure about your value, what you're providing them, you diminish your worth. You start to tick away at that worth, and you start to make decisions that aren't really respecting you in the process and are not allowing you the ability to really place boundaries down that can kind of help you to further build on this platform of self-worth rather than diminishing and breaking that down. So in identifying your core beliefs about your value and your worth, you are going to start to notice a lot more frequently that you're not happy with what you're giving others as an option of how they can kind of pay for your value. You will notice these things. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb once you've identified it. And this is kind of helping your reticulating activating system that just pays attention to different things you're placing importance on at a time. Like maybe you want to buy a red Corvette. You're going to start seeing red Corvettes everywhere. Same instance of your value and your worth. If you start to place importance on that, your brain is going to support you in making sure that it identifies for you every time that you are dropping the ball. So it is a fun way to really institute changes that are going to make a severe impact in not only your personal life, but is going to allow you to set frameworks of boundaries for yourself that further protect you from things that you know now because of how you register them feeling when they happen to you of just not being okay anymore. The next thing that I had to work on was combating my negative self-talk and my critical inner voice. It is no surprise that an entrepreneur would be very hard on themselves. Perfectionism runs rampant, and what comes with that is you just being kind of evil to yourself and not really giving yourself the grace or the understanding to know that you're doing great. We're all doing great. We're all getting better every day. There's no reason to beat yourself up or tear yourself down. And I say this as someone who still struggles with this, and I've been working on it for 2 solid years with intent, focus, and purpose. So it's going to take a while. It can take a while. And for me, I do find that now, it used to be the common way that I spoke to myself in my head. And now it's one of those things where only in kind of very tense, rare situations am I turning to that negative self-talk internally. But I will say, when it was the typical way that I spoke to myself, it was really hard to get through the day. It was hard to navigate different problems coming my way because I didn't have my support, because how could I? I was beating myself up all day long. It's not going to set you up for the confidence that you need and the inner strength you need to be able to pull from when there are these hard moments or difficult tasks that you need to complete within your day for your life or for your business. So it was really important that I get a handle on that. I will say it was fun once I figured out that I could really manipulate this and kind of nip it in the bud. And it did kind of present itself as a knee-jerk reaction. It was very unconscious of a response. And those types of responses that are unconscious, those things that we've just been doing for so long that we don't even think about them anymore, like driving a car, are difficult to turn around, but not impossible to turn around. And once I realized that I had a fighting chance of really making how I spoke to myself internally be a place of happiness and joy and support and all the things you want and need to have a great, happy environment, I went after it, and it's one of my favorite things to work on. So this will be something that you will need to kind of institute into your daily operating activities of how you treat yourself, and just cutting the negative self-talk and the critical inner voices, just stomp them. They're stupid. They do absolutely nothing for you but hold you back. It's you holding you back. And once you're aware that this is how you speak to yourself, you have to make it a priority to stop as soon as you can. Now, hand in hand with this is the third thing that you need to work on, which is practicing self-acceptance and self-compassion. With the perfectionism factor of entrepreneurship, there is that line of you just constantly being disappointed in yourself, or very critical and harsh over your actions, or, very judgmental of outcomes of different things that you've been working on, or, just overall disappointment for yourself yourself and what you're capable of because you missed a goal that you set for yourself. And all of these thoughts can be valid. I'm not saying remove negative thoughts entirely, but there definitely has to be a moment where you move past those negative, stagnant thoughts that keep you in the same place that you're currently at, which is somewhere that you're not happy, somewhere you're not comfortable with the level of achievement that you're executing. So you can't really like stick around in the muck for too long, but it is, to me, something I'll give myself 5 minutes for. And honestly, within the 5 minutes, I find myself not even really needing to stew in that emotion any longer. Like I'm ready to problem solve and get to the next step. I'm ready to take a look back and figure out, like, was this something I could have avoided? Was this something I could have done differently to have a better outcome, or one that would make me feel a little bit better? So it is important to take stock, and literally everything is a lesson. There are no failures. Failure is quitting. You're not a quitter, so you're not a failure. It's just the compassion that you need to flex and make a muscle that is strong for you is super important. Being compassionate with yourself and having every ounce of just like, no, you got this. No, keep going. Like, no, it's okay. You can bounce back from this. It's really critical. It's difficult to pour from an empty cup. You've got to fill your own cup with support, positivity, empathy, apathy. All the positive feeling emotions that cultivate healing are something that you need to give to yourself, and you need to give to yourself all day long. Within that, you're going to find the fourth thing, which is kind of culminating all of these things together and taking steps each day for you to take care of yourself and to appreciate yourself and what you are doing. So once you've got that self-compassion in, once you're no longer really relying on those critical inner voices to drive you through your day, once you're very aware of what your value and your worth is, these things start to dip away. These things no longer inhibit your growth. They turn into positive aspects and character habits that make you a high achiever. They make your business successful. They make your family life strong. They, most importantly, make you feel great about you. And they can help you to kind of find the missing key component of like why you're not happy or why you're not really enjoying where you're at and what you're doing. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you will just take the simple steps that we discussed in this episode and put them into action daily for yourself. You deserve a high worth for yourself. You deserve to feel comfortable and happy with what you're doing in your life. And it just starts with one step. If you're not currently feeling that way about yourself, it's okay. Not everybody is, and it isn't like a linear progression of growth. There will be times where you don't like what you're doing at all, and then the next day you could really love it. So just know that these are advantageous character traits to have that are really great for your personal life, and they can only make your business that much better. I hope you enjoyed this video version of this special solo episode for this Thursday. I will see you on Sunday for our Sunday strategy sessions. I have a brand new template coming for you. Really excited about that for the new year. And as always, my Richies, make life rich. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Go comment on my last Instagram post at SARAANNKELLYPR. It's listed in the show notes with the guest you want to see next. I'll be picking one person from the comments to send my 52-page pre-strategy creation workbook to. Make sure you hit follow on this platform to never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to leave a review and share on your socials. It truly means so much. See you next episode, my Richies.